everyone, and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekdays with Mom. I'm Mom, or Kay from Millennial Mom, and today we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiance, or is it 90 Day The Single Life? I know they have different franchises that they do, but today we're going to talk about The Single Life Tell-All Part 2. So I think with these tell-alls, they split it into 3 different parts, and honestly, they could have wrapped it up last night. They always tend to leave the juicier parts, the things that we really want to see how they play out, till like the final episode. I don't think 90 Day Fiance needs to do that because there's so many franchises, The Single Life, the new one coming up I forgot what it's called, the Tropical 90 Day Fiance, where they're going over to meet their partners and different little things like that. I don't think they should stretch it out. They have plenty of content where they don't have to. So again, welcome everyone. I'm Mom, or Kay from Millennial Mom. Now, before I begin and say hello to everyone in the chat and hello to everyone on the replay, don't forget to hit that like button, everyone. That helps our channel grow and helps with the algorithms to get us back up in the YouTube verse, get these videos out. And we have a membership. If you're not already subscribed to the membership, there's Behind the Scenes with Millennial Mom. There's actually something coming up next week. Not going to give it away, but there's something coming up. Probably have it out on Tuesdays. Can go down on Monday with someone that's been on the show before that you may know. Not anyone that from a TV show, but from another group. So that'll be next week coming up. And we have different shows I'm talking about. There's Love Without Borders. We have Love After Lockup. So there's different things coming along. And did you all see on our community page about Married at First Sight Nashville, season 16, already talking about when they're coming out, January the 4th, 8 p.m. It says that Devon Franklin's returning. Is he really returning? Because we only saw him in one episode. So I don't consider that returning. And then Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, and Dr. Pia, who is also returning. We saw her for an episode and a half. So I guess, it's saying that it's going to be lots of twists and turns for this season. And I'm actually going to get into it. I'll go live talking about it again, upcoming, with what I read about it and what's been printed and reported in the upcoming season with this drama. So let me say hello to everyone that's in the chat. Hello, Dolores. How are you today? And hello, Universal Advocate. How are you? Nice to see you both. Thank you for joining. Universal says, it all depends on the season and cast. I don't mind a 3-part tell-all for this season. You don't? I just really think, even for just all the shows, I think 2 is good, but 3 to me is stretching it. Because what else do we need to know that's going to go past 3 episodes that they couldn't do in 1? Just saying, just my opinion. Maybe I'm biased against it. I don't know. And you say he's still saddened by his divorce. Who you talk about, Universal, that's still saddened by the divorce. But anyways, well, I'll wait another minute or so for anyone else to join or anyone to give some more comments, whatever. And again, hello to everyone on replay. And don't forget to hit that like button, everyone, and leave your comments. Again, today we're talking about 90 Day The Single Life Tell-All Part 2. And maybe at the end, a little bit of Love Without Borders that premiered last week on Bravo. Oh, Devon? Maybe. But again, if he's considered a returning guest or a returning expert to Married at First Sight, what did you give expert advice on? We didn't see anything. You just came, kind of stood off to the side with Dr. Pia, said a handful of words. So where was the advice? Maybe I missed it. I don't know. So, all right. So let's just go ahead and get started. So did you all see the tell-all part 2? Are you into the tell-all or are you into the other seasons of the 90 Day? Well, anyways, last night with the tell-all, it picks back up with Tiffany. Now, Tiffany and Ronald are going back and forth. Tiffany said, "You know what? She's not the meek lady that you think she is. You know, she's strong. She's learned her independence. But one thing I didn't realize about Tiffany and Ronald is that they've been in their relationship for 7 years. And I had to think back to myself, like, when I first saw Tiffany and Ronald, I don't think that was 7 years ago. I mean, I know time flies, but I think we were just introducing them maybe like 3 years ago. But 7 years, I was like, wow, okay. Because, you know, most of these people, it seems like they've known each other for a short time, but I guess her and Ronald were talking maybe consistently, but I don't know. University said you watched the tele. Okay, good. And so Tiffany went over to South Africa to be with Ronald because, one, to see if her heart was still there, and two, so that Carly could see her dad. And Tiffany said within 3 days of her getting there was already trouble in paradise, from her accusing Ronald of taking her debit card to go gambling, because that was part of the issue before, his gambling and drinking when they were first introduced on the series. And then not just that, the girlfriend that we just found out about was still calling, and she happened to call when Tiffany was there. And Tiffany answered the phone, and the girlfriend was saying, "Oh yeah, Ronald said you're at his mom's house, you're doing this, that, and another." And I'm thinking, wow, like, if you want to have this relationship the way Ronald was talking, but yet the girlfriend is still calling, maybe you should like block the girlfriend for a minute, like let her know, like, listen. But then again, why tell a lie at all if it was really a lie? But Tiffany said she ended up staying there for 4 months. And I'm like, that's a long time. Now, I get it. You're going all the way around the world to see your daughter's father, or so she can see her dad. But wow. She said she had open-ended ticket. 4 months is a long time if you've been disrespected out of 3 days. I think maybe we did like 2 weeks or so, and I just would have took the hit on that and came on back home. So I don't know. What do y'all think who watched the show? But Ronald got upset about that. He kicked over, whether it be a camera, the laptop, or something, called Tiffany a liar, all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? You know what they always say, her truth, his truth, and you know, the truth is in the middle. I kind of have to believe Tiffany on this one. You know, Ronald has a history of doing similar things when we've seen him before. So it just seems like maybe this is his pattern. So I don't know. Universal, you said maybe she should have stayed in a hotel or Airbnb. See, I thought she would have stayed at a hotel or Airbnb too, but she thought she was going to work on the relationship. So I think that's why she stayed there. But still, she could have worked on it, and, you know, at a hotel as well. But I don't know, whatever was in her mind, it didn't work out. Tiffany said that, you know, after the phone call, she just let him hang himself, you know, with the activities that was going on, and she's filed for divorce. But I don't know. She got to do what's best for her and her daughter and her son, really, because I'm pretty sure it's hard to have a spouse or your child's father or even mother that lives on the other end of the world, or not other end of the world, well, South Africa, far away, you know, not close to you, and for your child to maintain a relationship with them. So yeah, that's hard for her. And I do believe Tiffany has a good heart. She gives me that, like, she wouldn't necessarily like cut Ronald off just to be cutting him off. So I don't know. It's toxic, but that's what she liked. And maybe she found the person that came out on the show to talk to her, the guy that she dated that one time to go over before she went to see Ronald. At least she was honest with that guy, and she had the biggest smile on her face when she was talking to him. I'm surprised they even brought him on the show to participate, because, like I said, we only saw him one time, so I don't understand the point of that. But okay, Tiffany, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. So anyways, let me drop the link for anybody who wants to come up live. If not, go ahead and continue to leave your comments in the chat. That's fine too. And let me just put this in really quick. Thank you. All right. Do this real quick. And typing in the chat. type really quickly, clean up my errors, and move on. All right. So also at the tell-all, so now it's Caesar's turn. And you know what? Maybe I was a little hard on Caesar. I'm trying to be nicer to the people that's on these shows, but then again, it's hard because of what they put out. Is it just me? Or is it me? I'm trying to, but I'm giving feedback off of what I see. I'm just trying to think of a nicer viewpoint to say about people that come on these shows. But Caesar, he makes it hard for me because Caesar, again, is at a particular age. And yeah. So, I mean, Caesar says he's in a relationship with two women. And these two women are in Ukraine and they already have their visas. Caesar says up and down, nope, I don't send them money this time. I've learned my lesson. They want to come be with me. They say they like me. We're going to be in a relationship. They're going to come over and have babies, get pregnant, all that stuff. I'm thinking, what? Caesar, really? Now, last I checked, Caesar, he's a nail technician. I don't think he does another job. I'm not saying he doesn't make good money being a nail technician, but I don't recall Caesar up in the ante as far as like where he lives and what he drives. Because the last vehicle he was driving was a bike, a 10-speed, and that's no shade. So I'm thinking like, so they're going to come in your house. You have a 2-bedroom. He said that they're going to sleep in his bed, and that's the way they want it. Like they want me. And Natalie was getting really upset with Caesar because she's like, why you have to pick someone from my country? But Caesar's answer to that, I was taken aback because he was like something to the fact like, he can like go to the country and just bring them here. Like they're not as westernized. Now, I can't remember the exact word he said, but it didn't seem like it was the best answer, in my opinion, that he can give us the reason why he chooses women, not just European women, but women specifically from Ukraine. So would you say Universal? They're all a confused bunch. Yes, they are. And also Caesar probably trying on seeking sister wife. Something, Caesar, his self-esteem is really, really low. Again, in my opinion, and all this is in my opinion. His esteem is low. It's always been low from when I have seen Caesar from the beginning. But I mean, he's just sitting there. He's trying to prove his point as to why he's going for specific women. But at the same time, he's saying, well, they just so happen to come from Ukraine, and, they're coming over for me and they don't want anything. And I'm thinking, so Caesar, what if it doesn't work out with these women? Like, did he think far enough ahead as to if it didn't work out? And then what? So they can't go anywhere because they only have you. They have their visas. I mean, unless they happen to have friends and or family here in the United States, but where are they going to go? So I don't think he's thought that far ahead. And then again, I just keep thinking, Caesar, why? Tell me why. Are you that lonely? And I believe the answer is yes. So Caesar goes on to say that he can't find anyone here in America who will be with him, or like maybe he can't get a date here. And I'm thinking, well, if you build up your confidence, maybe you can. And even what's her name, Tiffany and Tanya were saying, oh, you're an attractive guy, all this stuff. I mean, beauty is an eye of the beholder with everybody. So I guess, I don't know. Like I said, Caesar just needs to, I don't know what was going on, but he needs to get it together. But at the end of the episode, let me read your comment. It was so funny when Caesar was talking about two women. I don't believe anything he was saying. He doesn't act his age. He doesn't, and he's 50 now. We're of a particular age. Like, I can't even imagine a Caesar. Well, he probably wouldn't. I would probably be too intimidating because I'm a little more outspoken. But like trying to ask me a question, like I'm like, oh, okay, So I guess Universal says the convo him and Tim had backstage. That's what I'm getting to, Universal. But before that, do you all think it was Natalie's place to kind of like chastise Caesar in a way, like, because she was saying like, why do you pick him from my country? She was feeling like in a defensive. So I don't know. I could kind of see where for once Natalie had a small, teeny tiny point. But Yeah, not by much though. But yes, you're right though. So Universal, when they go backstage, I have that written down too. The conversation, I just thought that was so awkward. Like even when Caesar was talking to Tim, like, "Oh hey, how you doing? It's been a minute." Even that was awkward. Like Caesar didn't know what to say. I mean, he just maybe he's an introvert, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe he doesn't know what to say, and he's uncomfortable in situations like that. But how did him and Tim get on a conversation about testosterone? And Caesar saying how he's going to go, yeah, it's going on in like 2 weeks. So Caesar's trying to build up his testosterone, so maybe he can build up his stamina for these two Ukrainian women who happen to be from Ukraine. I don't have anything against that. So he can like procreate and do things with them. Is that why he's trying to do this? Is that what he's saying? Because I didn't understand how the conversation got there. And then how did Tim twist the conversation, or Caesar twist the conversation? Going to talk about being circumcised. I must admit I laughed at that because I was like, why do we need to hear about who's circumcised and who's not? That was serious TMI information and I'm sure the viewer and you all did not need. Am I wrong? Is it just me? I said, no, I don't need that vision of Caesar or Tim or Colt. Because when Debbie came in the room, why did Tim think it was okay to ask Debbie the question, the scenario, the statement that was asked about Caesar being circumcised? No, I didn't want to hear that from Tim, Caesar, or Debbie. Honestly, is it just me, you guys in the chat? Was it? Because honestly, I paused the TV and Millennial was watching it with me while she was doing her schoolwork. And we were just like looking at each other like, I cannot believe this. Because I can't imagine having that conversation about my son with another lady. So I guess if they went into it, she would find out. But you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't just put that out there on national TV. That's whoa. But that's just me. So let's see. Universal, you say, nope, it wasn't her play. She always makes it about her. Oh, okay. For Natalie? Gotcha. You also say maybe Bilal can give us some tips. Go to Universal. Now, you always pull a gem every time that I come on here about something. Bilal don't need to give him no tips. Bilal has too much of a personality for Caesar. I think Bilal would intimidate Caesar because if Tim intimidated Caesar in the conversation, Bilal, oh no, that wouldn't even work. Would you say, Dolores? No, it's not just you. The comment was very awkward and didn't get it. Right. Okay, Universal, like no, But when Debbie talked about it, I was thinking, okay, all right, all right, so we're gonna move past that. We'll get to Debbie in a minute. So then we have Tanya. Honestly, with this episode, Tanya didn't really say too much new information to me unless it's going to come up on part 3, because I didn't understand why, and you all answered it for me too. I didn't understand why Sinjin was there backstage, but yet Tanya didn't know. So he was just responding to what Tanya was saying. And so I didn't get that. So maybe he'll come out next week. So Tanya was just talking about, she's dating women. She's just being gender fluid with whatever she's doing. But I think I said this last week too. I've always known Tanya from what we've seen on her season. She's always come across to me as gender fluid anyways. I just always got that vibe from Tanya. She just, I don't know, maybe I picked up on it earlier than she mentioned it. I just got that vibe. But so she said she's going back to Aruba to pursue a love interest. Now, I wonder if she's talking about the lady who she was talking to while she was there, who's already engaged. Y'all think that's that lady too? And then when her date came on, like I didn't understand the date with Tanya, because if Tanya's pursuing a female interest, what's the point of having the man on here? She's talking about, oh yeah, had a good time. But then again, to me, Tanya is fluid with her relationship. So I don't know. With Tanya, we could have had her in her segment and then had Sinjin and then done, because it weren't too much for them. She doesn't give too much, maybe because I don't particularly care for Tanya, honestly. I don't think she brings a lot to the franchise, but I don't know. I just didn't think we got enough information from that. So with her, don't worry about it, Sharon. You come whenever you can make a live or catch on the replay anytime. But I appreciate you joining. Thank you. So, but what do y'all think about Sinjin? Sinjin looked like he put on a little bit of, and it's okay. He looked like he put on a little bit of weight. I wonder what he's been doing. Y'all think he's back in, I think they're from Connecticut, holding down the fort while Tanya's on her trips and stuff like that. But if you saw Tanya and Sinjin on their first season, Tanya was already taking trips when they got married, when Sinjin first came over, like right after the honeymoon. She used to, I think she went to Costa Rica, somewhere like that, where she was learning to make herbs and different little medicines natural from a lady she learned it from. So Tanya's always been on the go. Tanya's always been doing her own thing. Tanya has always been gender fluid, and Tanya is just, I just don't think she's ready to settle down. I think she likes the idea of settling down, but no, she's not. So maybe, like I said, next week we'll see Sinjin have a conversation with Tanya, because otherwise I didn't see the point of having them backstage just listening to what she had to say, and then that was it. Universal says, yeah, she's fluid. I was thinking her and another lady would hook up. She was on Single Life last season, dated a girl in Australia. Oh, she did, was in Australia. Oh, okay. I didn't see the last season, but maybe I'll catch up on that. Oh, okay. So you agree. Tanya's been fluid for a while. Okay. So let's see, what else? So it was Tanya, before we get to Debbie and Clint. Tanya, Natalie, Caesar, which was whatever. Tiffany, really, that was about it. What'd you say, Universal? I don't think she's ready for kids either, just to get a pet. No, I think she would leave the pet behind. She's not ready for a responsibility. A pet and a child is a responsibility. And with her traveling and doing her thing, no, I don't think she's ready for any of that. Not yet. Let me take a sip of water. In my recycled bottle. In my non-recycled bottle. But then again, it does say 20% natural overall. So, okay. So Mitch wouldn't be too mad, right? So anyways, then we finally get to Debbie and Clint. And so it's Debbie's turn. And I'm happy that she's happy. At least she comes across happy, right? She's moved to Canada. She says that her papers hasn't been approved yet, or whatever she said, being in Canada. I didn't realize it was that big of a process. But then again, I've never moved to Canada. I've visited Canada from the Michigan side, the Detroit, Michigan, and over to Windsor, Canada, but I didn't know it was about that with a living status. But Debbie, you know, when they show the highlight reel of her and Clint having different arguments and things like that, I also don't get that relationship with her and her son. I know everyone's conversation is different. Yes, Tanya was getting annoyed by Deb, but I think Tanya gets annoyed by anything anyways. But also too, when I say Tanya gets annoyed, I think that's just part of her personality. You know, if it's, to me, comes across as not about Tanya. It's like, oh, well, it's just whatever. That's just the vibe I get from her. But she was annoyed by Deb. Deb was in everyone's conversation, giving her little 2 cents, whether it be, what, really? But that's Debbie for you. But back to the highlight reel with Debbie and Clint. Just the arguments that they would get into, or disagreements. I don't know if that was a typical argument or relationship with her mother and son, because on their seasons, whether it be with when we first were introduced to Clint and Larissa, and then the spinoffs and everything else, Clint to me has always had a type of attitude. And I know I say it a lot on Married at First Sight, but I can't put my finger on the type of attitude that it is. He's very disrespectful. I'm not talking about that attitude. Kind of like, I don't know. He gives me maybe like he's disconnected with a lot of things. Is it just me? Does he come across disconnected? I don't know. He's really hard to gauge his personality. But when they got in that argument, excuse me, about when something happened and they said that, well, Debbie said, well, your dad would be really upset with you, how, what you're doing. And Clint, cussed her out then, and he used the word mom. And I was thinking, now, was it wrong of Debbie to say your dad would be disappointed in you? I don't know. Maybe. But then again, maybe not. I don't know. I was kind of like on the fence with that comment because I think that was one of the reasons why Clint feels that he could talk to his mom a certain type of way. What do you guys think? Do you think it's wrong to be like, oh, if your parent's not here anymore, your grandparent, whoever, would be disappointed in you if you had a disagreement? Do you think that's right or wrong? So, but apparently, like I said, that was one of the things about the argument. Now, Tony comes on the stage. He's happy with Debbie. They're happy with their lives. I think Tony tries to console Debbie the best he can. And I think that Tony has seen along the way the disrespect that Clint has given his mom, and he tries not to say anything on behalf of Debbie because Debbie is outspoken too and a little bit of a hothead. I can see it. I mean, she's been by herself for so long, so she's used to doing what she's doing, and saying how she feels. Let me read some comment. Oh, I'm sorry, Colt. I keep saying Clint. I'm so sorry. I just called his name Clint. I'm sorry. It's Colt. My bad. And so it seems like there's some frustration. I think it's codependency between them. I think it's codependency too. But Colt, but you know what? Universal, and thank you for correcting me. I apologize. It's Colt. I used to think that I didn't have a problem when we first were introduced to them that Colt and Debbie were living together. Because, I mean, she's older and maybe she was on a fixed income and Colt was working and, just helping out your family. So she didn't have to go anywhere where she wasn't comfortable. I didn't see anything wrong with that. I didn't. But as time progressed, it seemed like, yes, he's what, 30 something, he wanted to date. So maybe Debbie just had like a little bit more input in the relationship that he didn't like. And that was the problem. I think Colt can relate about how his mom has played a part in his life. You think Colt? Well, I think it's a little bit of Colt and actually Vanessa, because when they come out, Colt comes out with an attitude, and I just like, is he still holding on to like his mom? I thought it was like Debbie moving to Canada. I mean, you as an adult child moved on with your life. Like, how come your mom can't move on with her? So I didn't get the back and forth as the reason why Colt would be so looking with this look on his face, like he didn't want to be there and just like, I'm doing this again, because I'm sure he maybe didn't have to come in person. Maybe he could have did an interview like everyone else, like on the TV or whatever. But I don't know. Colt, what is going on with Colt? Can someone help me out? Like, what is really going on with Colt? Like, I was really thinking about this last night and this morning because I rewatched it again, trying to get the vibe of what Colt was trying to bring out. Dolores says, Colt's so disrespectful towards Debbie. He does seem a little disconnected. Yes, there's some type of disconnect there. Universal says, it seems like he had a very sheltered upbringing. And I think Deb said there was complications with the pregnancy. She probably thought she had to protect him, but maybe she was a helicopter parent. Well, I mean, Colt's like, 35, 36? So problems with the pregnancy, that was a long time ago. I mean, he's older, he's adult, and clearly does things on his own. But a helicopter parent, I get it, but I don't know. You said you didn't see it as respect. Which part, Universal, as respect? Him talking to his mom? Oh, you mean when Debbie said that about the parent? Is that what you're talking about? But the point is, when they came out to talk, Vanessa's the one that surprised me the most. And she surprised me the most when she was saying, yeah, well, our relationship was okay. It's like having another child. And, I have to look after him in a way. And I'm thinking, wow, really? This is what Colt is giving you in a relationship, but yet you still decide to marry him? Because I'm like, he didn't show you this beforehand. And I have to agree with Debbie on this part, that Debbie said, well, you saw how it was when you were living with all three of us. But Vanessa, she also seemed like she was like kind of done with Colt too. Did it seem like that to you guys? Because to say that a man, your husband is like another child, and she didn't say it like a he's like another child. She was like, oh yeah, he seemed like another child, and I didn't know what I was getting into, and he's like too much. Like she really seemed like she was at her wits' end with this. And then the way that Colt looked at her too, I was like, oh yeah, they definitely seem like they're having problems behind the scenes. Helicopter. Okay, I read that. Universal, you say no. When Colt was talking to Deb, it seemed like parent-child dynamic sometimes, many times. That's why I understand Colt. Okay. And Sharon, you say maybe that was wrong. Debbie said anger, apologize. Can they let it go? Yes, I agree with that too. I think she said it out of anger. And a lot of things sometimes come out of anger, whether you mean them or not. You know, when you're angry, sometimes they come out a little bit more force, but you know, it's the intent behind what was being said. So I don't know. I think Vanessa has her hands full, and I don't know if Vanessa really truly wants to be there. And Debbie's kind of like, I think Debbie gloated in that moment. And I have to admit, if that was me, I may have gloated in that moment too if I was in that situation. Thankfully, I'm not in that situation. I don't think I ever would be, but I kind of would be like, yeah, so you see what I meant or what was happening when you were there. So you thought it was going to change? Because normally your personality is set by a certain age. You don't normally change unless you take the proactive steps to change. And Clint doesn't give me that. He just gives like my way. I said it, it goes, and that's it. Universal said, yes, that's her term to be taking care of a grown man or a woman. Exactly. Well, I'm going to disagree with you on one part, Universal. I do not agree with Colt. I think he was very disrespectful. I think he may have had a point along the way, but I think points become misconstrued and thrown off once a certain person reaches a point of, again, that's my opinion, of disrespect where it becomes so low blow, so like you have to have the upper hand and you'll just say anything to hurt someone else. And in this case, it's your mother, that whatever point that you do have, no one can see it because they can only see like the hurt, resentment, and everything else you throw onto the person. So that's where I think Colt was wrong. And to raise his voice that way, I mean, how long has he been carrying this? And then he also said, Colt, that he hasn't called his mom in, like, he said he didn't know when, like 20 years. But in the clip, when Debbie said what she said, he called her mom then. So that wasn't 20 years ago. So was he being facetious or what? But either way, I guess we'll get more into it as Tell All Part 3 comes out, because I want to know, I hope Sean asked the right questions to Colt and Debbie to get to the root of what's happening, and also to Vanessa to see what's happening in that dynamic, because Debbie's of a particular age. When you're a single parent, so let me jump off the dynamic real quick. I'm a single parent. I've been a single parent almost all of my children's life. Now, I was married for 10 years, but been divorced for much longer than I got married really super young. I was a teenager, like 19 years old when I got married and had my kids soon after. So my children, my son and my daughter, well, millennial, and my daughter and my son are 30 and 26. So since they were like 4 and 8 years old, I have been a single parent. So I get the dynamic of that circumstance. So in a way, that kind of made me a helicopter parent, because I felt like I had to do things for mom, dad, even though my family helped out, but that just seemed like how it is. And then to know that you've done all you could for your children and they grow up and disrespect you like that, and on national TV and just on this platform, to me, I mean, you can move past it, but you're never going to forget it, you know? So I think there's a way that they need to communicate. And I also think that Colt and Debbie for a really long time need counseling. So, but that's just my little rant about it. So I'll read your comments. Let me go back. And University say, Deb is not a saint. I think she has some covered ways about her. No, I agree. That's why I said what I said about being a single parent. I get the single parent thing, stuff like that. But me and my 2 children, we don't have that type of dynamic at all. I'm very open. We're very honest. You can say what you want, all that, you know, they could tell me anything. and we could go from there. So it's truly a different dynamic. I mean, you've seen Millennial and I on camera, so that's how that goes. But again, part 3 hopefully will be better. We get more answers. I would like more answers from Caesar. I would like more answers from Natalie. We see Mike next week. Did you see how Natalie went to go sit on Mike's lap with Josh sitting there? Oh my goodness. Like, how is she gonna talk to Josh after this and vice versa? Because Josh seemed like he was thinking about giving Natalie another chance. But with that, I don't think so. I think maybe she have burned her bridge with that with Mike. I was like, oh my goodness. And then she started crying. So, wow. Yeah. We do have a good relationship. Yes, we do. So let's see. Gloria says, no matter what about David's personality, Coach not yell at her. It's still his mom. Exactly. It's still his mom. I know people may have disconnect with their parent or both parents or absent parents or whatever, but still, when you're on this platform, or any platform, that's not a good look. So, I mean, you could tell they have problems and along the lines, but wow. But like I said, next week's tell-all. So Mike is on the show, and then we'll see how Natalie reacts. I would like to hear more about Caesar and what's going on with him and the women that's coming over. And the lady he was dating is on the show. He said it's going to be hard to tell her goodbye or whatever he said. I'm thinking, well, what happened? Like, who broke that off? Because I thought he was into her. You'd rather see Yara? I kind of like Yara's personality better too. She comes across she's much more calm. She's not as rough around the edges that Natalie is. I'll give you that one, Universal. And then who else? It doesn't matter about, yes, I would like to see Sinjin, but let's get them first and get them out the way because they're a little on the boring side to me. And let's see, Tiffany, we've known everything we need to know about them. Same thing about, and Veronica has a new man. He's supposed to be on the show. Now, is it me or did they allude to Veronica dating someone relatively new? And since they didn't necessarily show his face, do we think he's from another franchise? That's the rumor that I was hearing. But then again, it could just be a rumor. So yeah, that's going to be interesting and exciting. Would you say Universal? No, Sinjin. Well, he's got to come on and give his side of the story talking to Tanya. So I like Yara better than Natalie. Yeah. So, okay. And then all right. So that was it for the tell-all part 2. So it was pretty brief. It was only an hour. Did anyone see Love Beyond Borders for our last few minutes together? Did anyone see Love Without Borders? New show on Bravo Wednesday nights, follows 5 couples who meet up with a matchmaker. They don't know where they're going to get a match. They find out who they're going to see, where they're going to go at the airport. They don't even have, I think they have a name, but they don't, do they have a name or just an address? No, they just have an address where they're going to go. So is anyone watching that? Let me read some. Let's see. Universe says, some said she's dating Jamal. Wouldn't that be something? That would definitely be something. But there is a rumor. I didn't hear that. I just heard there was a rumor from another franchise, but that could be. We're going to find out. So anyways, Love Without Borders is Wednesdays, like I said, on Bravo, new show suggested by you all, our subscribers. Thank you so much. So far, if you haven't seen the review, it's up now. It's our show on Bravo on Wednesdays. So far, it looks like it's a mesh of 90 Day Fiance, a little bit of Married at First Sight without being married, but just that whole concept. I read into it that it was the same producers of those shows, so it gives the same concept. So, again, 5 singles. We're going to meet a new single tomorrow night because 4 have gone over to their respective countries to meet their matches. And the last one goes over tomorrow. So we'll see him meet his person. So right now, I mean, there's really not too much to talk about because it's still fresh. So you have to check out the review and the show. But next week, maybe we'll do the tell-all part 3. And then Love Without Borders, we'll talk about that show as well. I'm going to read some more comments and I'm going to let you all go. And I appreciate everyone for joining and on the replay. Let's see. Dolores says they didn't show Veronica's new friend face. However, his hands look like he may be black. Yeah, I thought he's black or brown for sure. Definitely. So Universal says might be Kimberly's son Jamal. So we'll see. Universal says, I like it, but I feel they give the Dubai couple more camera time. They definitely, Universal gave that lady, Gerline, a lot of camera time. I thought when I was doing my review, it felt like I was talking forever. I was like, when am I going to end? But I couldn't end it early because it's a new show. And they gave her it seemed like the first hour, and then everybody else was the second half. So yeah, so maybe they'll split it up equally this time. And the lady from Dubai, I think all the personalities so far, she's one that needs a little bit tweaking because she doesn't seem like she likes the family dynamic. And I'm like, okay, already trouble in paradise and it's just getting started. So, but yes. Oh, Dolores, thank you so much. We appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Both episodes. Yes, both episodes, Universal. Thank you. Yep. So, all right, everyone. Well, that was the show today. I'm going to go down to one Weekdays with Mom because I have tests to finish out the remaining of the year. So I have to do it that way. But I will do a review of Love Without Borders. The show is on Wednesdays, like I said. Review will be out on Thursday. Thursdays to be safe. And then Love After Lockup season finale is this Friday. So that review will be out Saturday. And then also with Love After Lockup, they're already turning over the franchise. So it'll be brand new couples again the following Friday. So with Justine and Michael coming on to the new season of Love After Lockup after finale. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you so much. Millennial does say hello. She'll be hopping on when she gets a chance. She's working on her master's, like I said. So she's, working, going to school and all that stuff. So she'll be on soon, shortly, probably with Married at First Sight, more than likely as a guest coming in on the show. And I'll see you all next week for the tell-all. Thank you again so much, everyone. Have a good day and the rest of your week. Take care.